Hey guys, I'm just going to go on a little rant here about some people who are complaining. Which, now that I think about it, is that like an oxymoron, ranting about people who are complaining? Well, whatever. Anyway, you know, it's my channel, and I could talk about whatever the hell I want to, so fuck it. All right, what I want to talk about is a guy called Sage Northcutt. And for those who don't know who he is, he's a MMA fighter with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, okay, the premier MMA, mixed martial arts, cage fighting, whatever you want to call it, promotion in the world. He's 19 years old, he's had 2 fights, and he's making massive cash, okay? And because he's so young, so new to the promotion, and making so much money, there are a lot of people talking about him, like complaining about him. And as a matter of fact, here are a couple things that I screenshot from the MMA fighting app, you know, where they go ahead and they cover tweets every week. So here are some tweets from fighters. So Sage Northcutt tops the payroll for that event. Unbelievable. 2 UFC fights, and most of his opponents in the past have losing records. Chris Camozzi. Sage Northcutt, 40K, 40K. Funkmaster UFC, top number 5 ranked fighter, 14K, 14K. Something doesn't make sense. WTF, hashtag just saying, from Truck Gordon. Okay. No love in the rankings, and guys with 1 fight in the hashtag UFC make more money than me. Am I doing something wrong? Ryan LaFleur. Man, Northcutt gets 2 quick turnaround fights, and I'm over here waiting 5 months between fights at UFC, hashtag UFC, Ray Borg. So, these are a bunch of guys complaining because a guy called Sage Northcutt, 19-year-old, just 2 fights in the UFC, is making $40,000 to show up and fight, and he's getting a bonus of $40,000 to win the fight, okay? And they think that it's unfair because apparently the number 5 ranked fighter in his weight class got $14,000 to show, $14,000 to win. So, let's talk about this. Is this fair? You're goddamn right it is, okay? You know, I can say this because I fought, you know, a little MMA back in the day when MMA didn't exist. It was no holds barred back in the day, you know, kind of showing my age, and there weren't even really many promotions, especially in Europe. However, years later, I actually, when I was in Germany, ran professional MMA events myself, okay? I ran 9 events. And, you know, as a matter of fact, my very first event in 2004, Dennis Seaver had his first pro event. So, I mean, you know, I guess I'm a pretty big deal now, aren't I? And like I said, you know, they weren't on the level of the UFC, but I can tell you that, you know, I have run MMA events myself, so I see a completely different side of this. You know, is it fair that some 19-year-old kid who's going to college, doesn't even train full-time, goes ahead, has 2 fights, and his second fight, he's already, you know, making massive cash? Yeah, it is. And the reason is, he is not getting, I mean, nobody in, you know, a sporting event gets paid. Okay? Everybody in a sporting event earns their money. Okay? The fact is this, you know, it makes, seeing the business side, these guys complaining make no sense. Imagine if you work in, you know, a car dealership selling cars, okay? And all of a sudden this kid comes in, you know, and he pushes fucking 10 Maseratis off the lot like the first day, and he makes a fistful of cash in his first day, okay? And you're sitting here like, well, I didn't sell shit today, but I've been working in this dealership for fucking 15 years, and I have a lot more experience, and this guy comes in the first day, he makes massive cash. He fucking sold 10 Maseratis in one day. He's the shit, okay? And he did not get paid anything. He made money for the company Maserati. Maserati took some of that money and gave it to the dealership. The dealership took some of that money and gave it to the guy who sold the cars. They did not give him a goddamn thing. He gave Maserati a huge amount of money, and Maserati filtered through the dealership, gave the kid a bunch of money, okay? And that's the way it works. And the reason why you didn't fucking make any money, even though you've been there for 15 years, is because sitting on your ass for 15 years doesn't make Maserati shit, okay? You're taking up space in their dealership, you're drinking their coffee, you're flushing their toilet, okay? You're using their microwave to cook your fucking, you know, whatever fast food you eat for lunch. You're costing them money and you're not providing shit. So that's why you're not getting it. Okay, and the same thing with Sage Northcutt. This guy, for those who don't know him, and you should, look him up because he's very alpha, okay? He is in awesome physical condition, so chicks love him. He's in awesome physical condition, so, like, no homo. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Guys like me see him, and it's like, wow, that guy obviously is in awesome physical condition. I work out and diet, so I know how hard it is to be ripped, so he's in awesome condition. Plus, he can fight, okay? So the thing is, how, like, people want to see this guy fight. Because people want to see this guy fight, he's making the promotion money. Because he's making the promotion money, that means he's also, that means that they are giving him part of the money. You see, that's basically what people get paid for. Like I said, a car dealership does not get paid. You don't get paid in a car dealership to sit in your ass and get seniority. You get paid in a car dealership to sell cars. And if you sell cars, you get a certain amount of money. And it's the same thing with actors, and it's the same thing with athletes too. So if this guy, having him on a card means that they're going to sell tickets, that there are going to be people watching television, seeing him fight, that they're going to be able to sell advertising because they got a lot of people watching him on television, then obviously the UFC is going to make a lot of money. And to keep him there and not going somewhere else, they're going to pay him a lot of money. To keep him doing well and promoting the fights well, as opposed to just sitting on his ass like the people who complained about him and not doing anything, means, well, he's, they're going to pay him a lot of money to stay so they can continue to make money. And, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, it has nothing to do with winning. I mean, there's one guy, I'm not going to name his name, but there's one guy he fights in Asia right now. He was a very winning fighter in the UFC, and he was one of the most boring people you could possibly see. He would do like lay and pray, where basically, you take a guy to the ground, sit on top of him, punch him a little bit every once in a while, but nothing that's going to stop the fight, just to sit on top and pray that you win. And he won fights because he won fucking by points. People would be like, okay, I'll give him points because he took the guy down and controlled the fight, but it was boring as hell and everybody hated him. So when he got fired by the UFC, he, in the very first, bunch of mass layoffs, he got fired because everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy won so many fights. Why are you firing him? Because nobody wants to fucking watch him fight. I mean, I remember Tommy Toehold, which everybody should be watching if you like MMA. It's like a adult cartoon MMA spoof on YouTube. Tommy Toehold had, talking about how Dana White works all day and he's always flying around places and going to meetings and, having appointments. And he's like, yeah, the only time I ever get to take a nap is when this guy's fighting. I mean, it was a joke. Nobody wanted to see this guy fight. So who gives a fuck if he wins? Who gives a fuck if he's ranked? The bottom line is, if nobody's going to want to see this guy fight because he's boring as fuck, then get rid of him, okay? And that's the way it is. You think that, like, The Rock gets paid to work because he was a fucking actor for 15 years and he sits on his ass and does nothing? I mean, The Rock has a massive Instagram following. The Rock has people who, like, worship him. The Rock, if you just put this guy's name on a poster, if you guys just put this guy into a movie trailer, people are going to watch the movie just because The Rock is in it. He's not getting paid to act, he's getting paid to bring people into a movie theater, okay? And if he was the best actor in the world, I'm sure there are actors a lot better, although he's a great actor, I think, believe it or not. But there are guys that maybe you're better looking than The Rock. Maybe, you're a better actor than The Rock. Maybe, whatever reason you think you're better than The Rock. The fact of the matter is, he's getting paid because if he's in a movie, people see the movie, okay? So for all the people complaining about Sage Northcutt, and why this guy's not, why other people aren't getting paid, because he's getting the UFC money and he's just getting a cut of it, okay? If you're complaining about how somebody else in the office selling insurance or cars or whatever the hell is getting paid more than you, they're getting more money for the company, and the company is giving them more money, okay? And like I said, at the end of the day, it's like, it makes no sense, really, to if you want to get if these guys want to get seniority and they want to get paid more because they've been working longer, all I can say is, hey, quit your job not a job, but break off your contract as a competitive MMA fighter, as a competitive athlete. go to the fucking dollar store, go to fucking Walmart, go become a fucking garbage man, and yes, you will get paid more. I've been working here taking out garbage for fucking 10 years, and I get paid more than the person who's been taking out garbage for 1 year because I have seniority. Yes, if you have a job, that's great. But if you run your own business, if you're a commission-based salesperson, if you're self-employed, if you're a contractor, you know, working for somebody else, or if you're some kind of an advisor or whatever, you're only going to get paid for the results you produce. And yes, if a 19-year-old kid comes in and 1 or 2 fights and everybody wants to see him fight, you're goddamn right he's going to fight all the time. You're goddamn right he's going to get paid to fight all the goddamn time. And the reason is not because, you know, of any favoritism towards him. Rather, nobody wants to watch you fight. And if people wanted to watch you fight, you'd get paid as much or more.